Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice and to My Choice Tuesday. Today I'm going to be digging into Kurt Cobain's voice for the very first time. I probably heard a little bit of Nirvana on the radio growing up. I'm not really sure though. I'm guessing it was played. I don't have a reference in my head though for what Kurt Cobain sounds like. However, we do have references now on the channel for Pearl Jam and Chris Cornell and Alice in Chains. And I feel like my understanding of the grunge movement just won't be well-rounded until I can dig into Kurt Cobain's voice as well. So we're going to be listening to a cover song that Nirvana did. It's a song that was originally by David Bowie, the man who sold the world. And this is going to be from the MTV Unplugged series. I'm particularly excited for this because this series really strips away some of the music so I can get into the details of the voice even more. Let's get to it.
We passed upon the stairs, spoken walls and although I wasn't there, said I was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his eyes, I thought you died alone, a long, long time ago.
Some first impressions. I'm not entirely sure that I really like his voice. There's a lot of things in it that I'll talk about that I super respect. But it's so funny. So I'm going to be looking for essentially how he's effective in this style. And I'm excited to hear a lot more of him, but I didn't expect to hear him sometimes being flat on notes. I didn't expect that. And you can do slides. He's definitely doing lots of slides in there. I did expect, just knowing a little bit about grunge vocals, that it was going to be a fairly nasal sound. And grunge, a lot of the grunge vocal technique breaks what is considered good technique sometimes. It's kind of why I'm really interested in it, actually. I think it's fascinating. And he is singing super nasal, right? It's like very much coming through the nose. His soft palate is dropped pretty far so that the sound is exiting more through the nose than through the mouth. And that is enhanced further by him essentially keeping his mouth fairly closed. So it's a really interesting sound to me. My instant response to that was like, oh, it's not very pretty. But I don't know that it's really supposed to be pretty. So a couple other things, emotionally, it definitely evokes just kind of some malaise, some general malaise. And I think that matches thematically with what the song's lyrics are and also with just general themes in grunge. So from that perspective, I would say the voice is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And it almost sounds lazy at times. And then when he got higher, I heard a little more support and line engage. But that, yes, very surprising to me. Also, the very beginning was interesting because the first riff starts off and it sounds like the song's going to be major. And then it settles down one whole step and suddenly, it sounds like it's going to be minor at first. And then when it settles down one whole step, it settles into a major key for a bit. And I feel like it was just immediately from the get-go messing with my expectations. So we're going to go back to this. So right here, it sounds like it's minor. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. It's actually major?
We passed upon the stairs, spoken walls and although I
it has got so much twang and the sound, like so much forward placement. It's kind of nuts. It's almost like it's like uber twang, like some kinds of country even. What a strange mixture to get into essentially rock or alternative rock. Uh, I want to go back and point out a couple of moments that are interesting to me. He's doing little breaks that I actually do find really attractive in his voice in particular, like almost like little cries in there. So let's point out some.
Oh, I wasn't there. He said I was his friend, which came as a
Right there between came and as, or maybe it's between as a surprise. He does a little break where he essentially leans into a lower register and pops into a higher one just briefly, and it's subtle and very controlled.
was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his
And then in between in and two, he does it again. On spoke, because he's a little bit under the pitch, that's one of those moments that bothered me the first time through. Um, but I still want to take a step back and say I'm not used to the whole style. I haven't heard his full voice. A voice shouldn't be perfect. A voice should be perfectly suited for the message that it's trying to deliver.
surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died alone a long, long time ago. Oh no, not me. We never lost control. The face to face of the man who sold the world.
I liked hearing a little bit of like a little harsh vocal that came in, just a teensy bit of distortion in there. Additionally, partly because he is singing with a lot of twang and mouth closed, and he's not actually singing with that much power. His voice cuts. It cuts a lot. A lot of twang tends to make a voice cut really well. But because he's singing with generally like a little less power overall, he's not needing to use a ton of air, and he's able to have really good air efficiency overall. So really able to carry a phrase for longer if he would like to, but it doesn't sound like he's ever inconsistent in the air support. So it seems to be a nice steady stream the whole time, and definitely would be able to. I heard a phrase in there at one point where I thought, okay, really good breath control, really good, not just control, but like measuring of the breath as well. Back just a little bit.
The face to face of the man who sold the world.
I love that deceptive minor than major moment.
I laughed and shook his hand. I made my way back home. I searched for foreign land. For years and years I roamed. I gazed and stared. We must have million years. I must have died alone a long, long time ago.
Okay, it's growing on me. It's I feel like I need to sort of take off the vocal expertise hat in this case and just listen to the emotion. Ultimately, it is so much more important and crucial that the emotion is on in a song. It needs to connect to people, and obviously they have connected to tons and tons of people. Do I think that he's producing the most beautiful sound in the world? No, I don't. But there's a longing in it, and like a sadness in it. It's not, it feels like it's trying to be really real with emotions. It's not um, trying to be pristine in any way. And instead he's just like, I want to communicate this, like, I want to say disillusionment is another word that's coming to mind with the way his voice is sounding, the emotions that it's pulling at. Um, it's really interesting to me now. I'm going to go back again and listen to that verse. It's so strange that really quickly it can shift and you go, okay, now that I'm getting used to the sound and I can appreciate the emotion more now, like, oh, this is actually really appropriate.
I laughed and shook his hand. I made my way back home. I searched for former land. For years and years I roamed. I gazed and stared. We must have million years. I must have died alone a long, long time ago.
Also, that line just really hit me here because I know that Kurt Cobain was found dead just months after this recording happened, alone. And the line here is, "I must have died alone a long, long time ago." I you can feel like there's just some depression in his sound, right? There's a certain resignation. This feels like strangely very raw and real. Uh, wow. Okay. Yeah, this is full of surprises. Very surprising today. One more time.
We must have million years. I must have died alone a long, long time ago. Who knows? Now, babe, I never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world.
I really like this song. I think, who knows, not me, I never lost control. You're face to face with a man who sold the world. Um, it's interesting. I feel like it actually really suits the grunge movement and uh, fits within some of those themes as well. And it seems to really, really suit Kurt Cobain as well. Um, it's so interesting to me how little effort he uses to sing. You know, I feel in so many ways this is like the antithesis of a lot of classical or operatic singing. We dig down to the very, very bottom of our breath capacity, and you never see an opera singer who has finished a show and isn't sweat through their costume. It's really, really tough work to produce that much power and volume for a long period of time. Um, and here he just, he's got a sweater on. I think that's by choice. I don't think that's a costume. So I think about, like, this is just a really different approach to singing. Sometimes singers can put in very little physical effort and have a good sound, or have, I should say, the right sound for what you're going for. Um, if you need a really big, powerful, belted, long line, like, your body needs to work for that. You shouldn't make your vocal folds work really hard for it. Okay, it's like the whole body that needs to be involved for support. But here, he doesn't need to really belt so much. He just keeps it really locked into a pocket, essentially, that has a ton of twang, like all of that very forward resonance. And then he just keeps it right there the whole time, and it's very, it, I think it's very informative to see that his body and overall approach to this performance is super, super chill. Really, just kind of like almost like he's talking. Go back a little bit.
A long, long time ago. Who knows? Not me. I never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world.
Like that, right?
Me, we never lost control. Your face to face of a man who sold the world.
Just want to also point out, kind of as we're going along, notice every now and then he starts to get away from the microphone and you lose his sound pretty quickly. I think that's another really good indication. It's a very focused, narrow sound, and he's using the microphone to really help project. I think people sometimes will try to recreate this sound by doing some pushing, and that's not the way you get to it. You need to find the right placement here. Also, make sure you've got the right laryngeal placement, and it's fairly. It should, again, be fairly minimal energy. And in the moment he starts to get his head away, you hear that the sound is dropping very quickly. And you see him essentially restart and be like, oh, yeah, I got a little bit far away from the mic there.
Lost control. Your face to face of a man who sold the world.
There's a lot of dissonance all of a sudden. Okay, so what happens is the note that I expect them to land on right there, which they eventually get to, they do the half step below it and then a half step above it, which is like two extremely, extremely dissonant points from what we expect, which is why it feels just like fundamentally very disturbing to my ears. Some more singing. No. Okay, we're gonna go back to that last moment of him singing then, because I just don't feel like I'm ready to hear him stop singing at the moment, which is very surprising considering my initial reaction. The cello in this whole mix is really nice. It ultimately the cello is going to have more sustaining ability than the other instruments that you see here, and that gives it essentially like a sort of, they call it string bed when you're referring to like a whole orchestra. It gives it a support that's always a little bit more present. Oh, that was right. Here we go. No? Oh man, it's far back. This is a long instrumental bit. Okay, back one more time.
Lost control. Not me. We never lost control. Your face to face of a man who sold the world.
gotta say, this guy who's on the guitar here, I love his jaw release. Obviously has his mouth open most of the time. It's really rare that people actually allow their jaw to be at a resting position where the mouth is open. And a lot of people have problems with jaw tension, like a ton of people, probably because we're always clenching our jaws to not just let it go. This guy's got a great jaw release. Anyhow. I love the entire idea of these MTV Unplugged concerts, and I really wish that I could have been at a number of them. That was a very strange experience for me. I'm used to being able to identify within 30 seconds to a minute of hearing a singer what some of the key elements, or I would say most obvious elements, are about their voice that people identify with or find attractive or relate to. And it took me a good 2 minutes into that song to start actually relating to his voice. I did identify that the emotion would probably tug on people, but it didn't actually get to me until later. I just find that fascinating that essentially it's not his voice that evolved, but it's my perception of his voice evolved rather quickly. And I'm really curious to know how that perception might shift if I were to listen to, say, an hour of his music. Would it become addictive because it felt like there was so much realness in it? Or, would I eventually get annoyed by the sound? I don't know, but I'm really curious to find out. So please recommend your favorite Kurt Cobain songs down in the comments below. We do look for your comments and recommendations, and we track them. Additionally, I'm here every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Arizona time for live premieres. You can find me there. And if you'd like to hear some more music that's like this, you might find bands that you love and you've loved for a long time. You might find new bands that you'll discover. We have a playlist of similar songs right here. So wherever it is next, I'll see you soon.